Hi everybody, welcome back to my PvP series. My alt account has finally hit level 10, which has opened up my dungeon for me. So now we are actually going to start getting into some low level PvP. So PvP at the lower levels is drastically different than it is at level 65 and 70 because you run an entirely different spectrum of quality of heroes. And most people, when they start out, it's kind of a hit and a miss. There's no way that you're going to win every single raid, and there's no way that you're going to be able to defend against everybody as well. So the main thing to keep in mind with low level PvP is basically grind out as many as you can. Notice here that a lot of my heroes aren't leveled up yet. I just hit level 10. I had been mostly slow leveling most of them because of how I'm running my normal campaign. For those of you that are kind of watching the normal campaign series, I am doing that and keeping their levels rather low, or at least lower, to beat the dungeons at level or preferably below level. So what I'm going to do here is I'm really just cashing in on a bunch of my quests that I've had from just running dungeons and stuff, get a bunch of experience and stuff, and basically collect all my rewards. And now I'm going to actually update these and start building a dungeon defense. So what you're going to see in the next couple of minutes here is just pounding some XP. I'm basically taking the few heroes that I have, and I'm gonna try and make them as tough as I can. Now I'm really low level here, and I'm in the lowest possible tier of PvP. So there's gonna be plenty of other people around that are a lot stronger, and that's one of the things you're just gonna have to come to terms with, because notice the number of gems that I have. I could do a couple of heroic summons and maybe hope for a good hero there. But with my advanced knowledge of the game, I know better than to waste my gems early on. So some of those people that are going to end up attacking me, and maybe they have an Igorok, or they have somebody else that's really awesome, I know that I'm going to get stomped on by those people left and right. And those are one of the things you're going to have to be aware of. No matter what you're going to do, there's no way that you're going to be able to defend against all of those. If you got some people who are spending gems early on, they're going to have just flat out better teams than you. There's nothing you can do to prevent that. So you see I got, with some experience here, got my heroes up to level 11. You'll see that I really don't have any runes on anybody yet. I really don't have a lot of runes to start with, so it's not a high priority. Like I said, I could have the absolute best defense for what I have with my roster, but if somebody comes in with Valken and then Igorok and another couple of 3-star heroes, there's no way you can defend against it. No matter what you do, you just will not be able to defend against it this early. And so that's one of the things you have to kind of deal with. So when we do PvP defense, just assume that your PvP defense is going to lose probably more than it wins at this level. Part of that is because of, like I said, the variety of people that are doing heroic summons, and other part of it is just going to be people that are higher level and more powerful than you at this level. Now, as far as PvP attacks go, you can pick and choose some of the raids here and try and at least get a little bit of honor in your name based on who you're going to attack. When you're in this first tier PvP, you are going to find a bunch of scrubs out there that just haven't set up dungeons, kind of like what I have, and they're just overly low level and just not going to be successful. So it looks like I got 40 trophies to start with, just kind of out of the blue here. But you'll see we have some easy raids to start with here. When you do the raids early on, if you want to look for some of these easy teams to start with, that's probably going to be the best way to go. Now, my assessment of early level PvP, obviously almost everybody that's this low, levels 10 through probably 20 for starters here, are going to be at the same basic star level. You're not going to see too much variation in hero power here, especially even with runes. You might have some people throw some basic lesser runes on there and do just fine. But everyone's going to have basically limited hero rosters, and those heroes are going to be rather weak as well. So the key to winning PvP early on, honestly, is going to come down to your skill sets. Now, ascending certain heroes obviously is going to be difficult this early on. So, for example, I got I got Darius here, which is, she's been an absolute superstar in my campaign runs. If anybody's wondering how I got her without, spending money or pouring a whole bunch of gems in, when I first started this alt account, there was a glitch or something that plagued the system for a day or two, and Dungeon Boss sent out one of those in-game emails that said, "Sorry, we had some troubles. Here's some Darius tokens." Well, for anybody that didn't have Darius, 10 tokens was enough to unlock her. So I actually unlocked her. Now she's a 1 star. So she's kind of one of my superstars. So I'm going to use her in most of my campaign mode until it gets to the point where she falls behind on her usefulness due to star levels. Um, but more so when you're doing PvP defense. If you can ascend your heroes, you're going to win much, much more PvP defenses than you would if you didn't. And the reason being is you have that instant cooldown on your skills the first couple of turns. So, for example, if you have Stonefist and you can ascend him, you're going to get both his Fist of Justice and you're going to get his taunt, which a taunt on defense this early on is excellent, especially if you have somebody that's a good attacker like Shadowblade, Darius, or even Ella. So those are going to be the major advantages you can have. If you can ascend your heroes, you're going to have a much better chance on PvP defense against those who are not. You're still not going to survive against those people that come at you with a Valken, Igorok, and Braum combo. You won't make it. You'll get stomped on pretty bad. Now, as far as how that pertains to PvP offense is obviously a little bit different because even if you manage to ascend a hero, you still have to wait the normal cooldown. So even if I was able to ascend Darius, it's not like I could use her skills back to back. I'm pretty much relying on her Purple Rain off the bat to kill some people. But even at this low level, it's just not going to happen. So right now, I'm just picking on a couple of lower level people here, and as I win a couple of matches here and get out of this first tier of the league here, I'm going to start running into people that I just cannot beat. And that's basically just going to be part of the game here. I don't expect too many people at level 10 and 11 and 12 to get overly competitive at PvP. My preference is use your 4 raid tickets every day or however long it takes them to refresh. Get yourself some honor. Spend that honor in the honor summon. Maybe try to get Ponti. That would be a great acquisition early on. If you can get him, he's going to be an excellent helper in PvP. I can guarantee that. So this is probably the best time to spend that honor in the honor summons. Once you start getting further along, you're going to want to use that honor for probably rune crafting and such like that, or other miscellaneous tokens. So you can see here with Stonefist taunting on defense, when I got a couple of these rogues in here, they just can't do enough damage to him to really whittle him down. And so I'm relying on cooldowns to come up so that I can actually do another skill here. And that's what I was mentioning before. So if you have Stonefist and you can ascend him, you're going to have some really nice defense and then, really win some here. So in this case here, I ended up losing just because I didn't have enough gusto to take down Stonefist. Same thing kind of goes if you have Yoko this early. Yoko with his days is really amazing unless somebody happens to have Shade this early. So looking at that team there, Julius and Emily combo, that's going to be a tough one to crack. This low in levels, going up against Sifu Gianzi, he's going to absolutely mop the floor with you. At low levels, that guy's an absolute beast. So pretty much one-shot anybody that he comes up against, with the exception of maybe tanks. Nice little dungeon boss review process there. So what I've done here is I've actually advanced my game a couple extra days, and now I'm going to show you how things have been working out for my low-level PvP. If you look at this here, I got a lot of PvP losses, and that's kind of what I was alluding to before. There's going to be instances where you come up with teams that you just cannot stop. In this case here, it's a team that flat out out-leveled me. I was obviously going to lose there with an opening Darius. We have another one here with Igorok. Igorok's going to be a beast as far as PvP. It's unlikely that I was going to be able to stop him. Next one was Malice and Emily, two other good heroes. Again, they're going to do some serious damage there. We're even levels, but still able to beat me. This team here, there was no chance I was ever going to beat that one with opening Kira and then, forgot his name already, Bolvis and then Braum. It's just not going to happen. So you can see, looking over my stats here, I have an absolute ton of losses. It's just not something that I can compete at this level without beefing up my heroes first. So looking at my heroes here, I kind of went for a damage-based team here. Basically, this team lives and dies with how well Darius hits against the PvP attackers. And in this case here, they're just not strong enough. Here's another one that has a pretty hardcore attacker with Phenol early on. It's just it's unlikely we're going to be able to stop this one. They got pretty much heavily armored guys coming in here. So we're just going to go through a couple of my replays here in terms of what you're actually seeing. And so this is one that was actually, they were lower level than me, but because they have a 3-star hero in there, you could see the value of a 3-star hero. And plus, being that they attacked me, I wasn't able to see what kind of runes they had, and honestly, it wouldn't have mattered, because if Stonefist taunts, I'm not going to be able to kill him. If William taunts like he does there, I'm not going to be able to kill him. I just don't have the damage on this particular team here. So what we'll end up doing is we're ultimately going to... once we get a few extra people, we're going to revamp this team here and hopefully put out some bigger damage dealers. Now, my plan for PvP, as far as this alt account goes, we saw this is a very low level right now. I'm going to try and do this in increments of about 5 levels, at least for the first couple. So the next series of PvP check-in is going to be around level 15 or so, and then I'll do another run around level 20 or so. I do need time in between them to ultimately level the account, and since I have my main account, I have a lot of time sinks there. I don't get a lot of time to actually play the alt account. But yeah, with Phenol here, and he does his poison, it's bad right from the start. Even though he's slow, he doesn't take a ton of damage from low level heroes. So when you're doing PvP attacks, you can kind of be the judge if you want to spend 300, 600, 900 of your gems early on just to try and get a 3-star hero. I personally wouldn't recommend it. Having been through the game, I know the absolute best benefit is going to be saving your heroes or saving your gems for a ×10 summon. I know it seems like it might be a ways off, but just running campaign dungeons, you're going to get plenty of gems back. So I'm actually, being that I can control the attacks this time, I wanted to try and revenge this guy just to see how it actually worked here. Because they're all male, I was hoping that Darius could actually take them down, since I did have a level on them. And then Shadowblade, I got him just the other day as well, so he's potent, but I knew that this was going to come down to trying to kill Phenol, and if I can't kill Phenol, that's it. He's going to poison the team, and I'll just basically lose by default. And that's ultimately what happens here, because with these rogues and just low hitters, they can't stack up to these armored opponents. It's not going to go. So you have to really choose your opponents wisely when you're doing low-level PvP. Now, some of you will be able to actually pour some runes on, and you'll see that in one of my next videos. But expect to have a lot of losses this early. You're not going to have a perfect record, and that's one of the things we're going to try and flush that aside. We're basically doing PvP at this point to get a sense of how to attack, how to get a good defense early, and then ultimately just getting a little bit of honor that's going to benefit you in the long run. So there's not a ton of useful information in this particular video here, but you can see kind of how things are going to go. You can expect a lot of losses, and even trying to win some of those attacks are going to be tough as well. But you will find some people who just haven't set up their dungeons yet, and you'll be able to beat some easy ones and get some honor for you. So if you have any questions, concerns, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, stick around for the next video. Thanks.